All right. There's a couple of things we have to go through. First of all, the number one search today, what's trending on Google, is cashless bail. What is cashless bail? Cashless bail is when somebody is arrested and charged with a crime, they may be released before trial if they can pay bail. Okay? That is the financial guarantee that you're actually going to show up in court. Cashless bail removes money from the equation. So instead, a judge decides to release, a release is based on other factors: the severity of the crime, the person's criminal history, whether they pose a risk to the public, or if they're going to, leave. So there is no cash. You get bail without any cash. That's easy. Now, some people are saying, justice shouldn't be for sale. It's not. Safety is what everybody's worried about, not justice. And, the left sees cashless bail as a step towards, fairness. I tend to look at it as you're just letting the person out. Just letting the person out. I mean, I'm not for excessive bail. That's in the Constitution. You cannot have excessive bail. I think this is the exact opposite of excessive bail. This is no bail. And there's some things that are tried and true and have been going on for a long, long time that prove to show results when you're trying to stop crime. Bail is one of them. Excessive bail is a sign of real problems in a society. No bail, I believe, is a problem of a real problem in societies, ours in particular. So that's what cashless bail is. Let me get that off the plate. Okay. I want to talk about the Defense Department, now maybe being the Department of War. Trump is he's just nonstop. He just doesn't stop. Every day, it's like, I've heard it described by some people as Christmas every morning. You wake up and you're like, what's under the tree today? Sometimes it is coal. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a new bike that you've been waiting for forever. But every day he is got something else underneath the tree for us to open up. There's a couple today that need to be opened and discussed. And one of them is the Department of Defense or the Department of War. And when I first heard this, I thought, I don't know how I feel about that, because I want to be defensive. I don't want war. Who wants war? War is so icky and so scary. I don't want war. Okay, for the first 158 years of our republic, that's what it was. It was the Department of War. Why? Because we were off again, on again. We didn't have this big Department of Defense. We didn't have a standing army. When we had to go to war, we just got everybody together and say, bring your guns in. And we had a Department of War that would open up, and we could fight that war. Then we would send everybody home. We had that during, Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the trenches of France, the beaches of Normandy, all of them. What changed? Well, Harry Truman came into office in 1947, and it was, the most destructive war of all time, but the war that would change everything. And Truman recognized that we had to have a standing army. Well, Americans were against that. They didn't want a standing army. We were like, well, wait, what? Because it was such a huge change. And so Truman convinced everybody that we had to have a standing army because of now the bomb and everything else. So he established the military. And within 2 years, it was called the Department of Defense. Okay. Why did he do that? Was that an act of political correctness, before we had a term, for that? Was it meant to soothe the war-weary public? Remember, we had been through 2 world wars in 20 years. Is this trying to soften us and say we're not the aggressor? We don't have a Department of War. We have a Department of Defense. We are only a defender. Or was it something else? What happened with the next president? Because the president that did this is Truman. Who was the next president? The next president was Eisenhower, the general. Okay, he was the general that led the troops on the beaches of Normandy. He was the 5-star Allied commander of World War II. He becomes president. And what is the last act he does in office? The last act he does is give a speech where he's like, hey, I just want to warn you. You know me. I kind of like the military. I fought kind of several wars. The big one you might have remembered, WW2, the big one. I was there. And I just want you to know we're in trouble because there's this military industrial complex and a military educational complex. And those two are going to get together, and it's going to be really bad for America unless we all pay attention. What he was saying was, we now have a Department of Defense full-time. And you might think it's for defense, but it's not. It is going to start doing things that it shouldn't do. And it's going to start convincing you that we should be at war when maybe we shouldn't, because it will be good for the military-industrial complex. And so after we went to the Department of Defense, now it's not just because of the name, but after we went to the Department of Defense, because we had an established military now that was full-time, we started spending money like there was no tomorrow, and we started working on weapons, and those weapons had to be used and proliferated and everything else, and we ended up here. So the president comes out and he says, I really, really think we need the Department of War. And everybody is like, wait a minute. I don't know if I like the Department of War. Truman, I think, was rebranding it for peacetime. Donald Trump is saying, and I quote, I don't want to be defense only. We want defense, but we want offense too. And he is tapping into something that is true. You have to be, strength, peace through strength. This was Ronald Reagan. I think Donald Trump is taking this a step further. We're talking about this on the same day he said we should get rid of all of our nuclear missiles. Okay? Who says this? Oh, I remember. The other warmonger, Ronald Reagan. We just found out yesterday that Ronald Reagan was trying to get rid of our nuclear missiles. He didn't want to get rid of all nukes. He wanted the bombs that could be loaded on planes, but planes could be turned around. Missiles cannot be turned around. And so he said, let's get rid of missiles as a world. Well, Donald Trump, I don't think coincidentally, this week is coming out and saying the same thing. But he's also saying, at the same time, let's get rid of missiles, he's saying we should have a Department of War. I don't think anybody's going to really give you all of this. I certainly know the New York Times and the Post and everything else that all of your liberal friends read are not going to do anything except, see, he's a warmonger. He's a warmonger. No, he's really not. I think the best way to stop war, and you're seeing it right now, is to have a leader and a country that knows exactly who they are. They walk up to the plate and say, we could do this the easy way. We could do this the hard way. I recommend you do it the easy way. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. Let's stop the killing. And he tries and he tries and he tries. But knowing if you don't want to go that way, that's fine. But I'm going to turn your sand into glass overnight. And I'm not going to rebuild you. I'm not going to bail you out. You want to start something, go ahead, but we will finish it. When your country has the credibility that is exactly, he means what he says and says what he means, which is exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Why is the world coming to us? Why is he able to solve all of these problems? Why has he been able to grant peace? Why has he been able to do all of these things that nobody else has even been able to do? Now, yes, he hasn't solved Ukraine and Russia, but not all conflicts are really easy, super easy to solve, with a bowl of peanuts and a nice glass of iced tea. Some of them are a little difficult. But why is the world coming to us? Why is he effective like this? Because they know he means what he says and says what he means. You want to solve this? Great. You don't want to solve this? Then these are the conditions that we're going to move forward on. And that doesn't embolden enemies. That terrifies them. He is the most anti-war president we have had since Jimmy Carter, but Jimmy Carter did not have the strength. Carter was weak and signaled weakness, and so he made the world more unsafe. This president is strong. This president is making the country stronger, and he believes in peace just as much as Jimmy Carter does. I think this president is saying, I want the people to know that this is the Department of War, not just externally, but internally too. We need to be reminded, all of that money, that defense, when you think of defense, what do you think? You think of, well, there's cybersecurity and there's all that kind of stuff, and we've got spy programs, and, we're going to have a missile shield. But when you think of war, what do you think? My children are going to die. Bombs will be dropped. That's the reality. I think Donald Trump is trying to remind us that's the reality of our Defense Department. And we keep getting roped into all of these wars that are meaningless. Why? Because somebody's making money. So I don't know. Who are we? Do names even matter? Do names guide our national character or follow it? Are names important? My dad always taught me words matter. Every word matters because every word tells you something about what a man believes about himself. So, do we need a Department of Defense or a Department of War? What does the answer tell us about our leaders and about ourselves? I can't believe I'm saying this because just last night, before I really started thinking this through, I was against the Department of War. I think I'm actually for the Department of War. I think it's the right thing to do. It shows strength externally, and it reminds us, most importantly, internally. It is war. It is death and destruction. That's the biggest thing that bothers me about our Department of Defense when they're like, well, we got a nation build, and we're going to train our Navy to go in and be just buddies. That's not what the Navy is for. That's not what the Air Force is for. That's not what anybody is for. In the Department of Defense, it is for war. Break things, kill people. That has to be we have to remind ourselves every time. You want to build things, you want to be peaceful, you want to make sure. That's perhaps what the State Department is for. The Department of War is for war. Let's be clear and stop deluding ourselves. Back in just a second. First, let me tell you about Relief Factor. Ever notice modern life comes with a constant stream of updates? Your phone updates, your computer updates, your car wants to update. But one thing that never seems to update is, your body. It just keeps running on the, same buggy program, the aches and stiffness and pain and little, crashes that slow everything down. Relief Factor is the daily supplement that works like a patch for that system. 4 natural ingredients for you to take every single day, and it's designed to help your body clear out the inflammation bugs that keep crashing your systems. Go back to the original design. Let it run the way it was supposed to without all of the glitches. And here's the cool part. When your body starts running smoothly again, you'll notice how much faster your life responds. Your energy updates, your mood updates, your outlook updates. Even your confidence gets a version 2.0. So you don't need a whole new body. You just need to get rid of some of the bugs. That's what Relief Factor, the daily supplement, is built to do. Give their 3-week quick start a try for only $19.95. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. 800, the number 4 relief. It's relieffactor.com. 10 seconds. Station ID. All right, so Stu, help me out here. What is the new the president's physical fitness, plan?
Well, the thing that RFK Jr. and Hegseth were rolling out the other day, I don't know if it was the full test or anything, but they were issuing a challenge to America to be able to do 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups within 5 minutes.
That's crazy.
Thank you. That struck you
That's
also
crazy.
as crazy? I don't think there's ever been a time in my life I could have done that. let alone now with shoulder problems and much too much weight.
No, I remember when I was a young whippersnapper before I needed this walker.
I don't think there was a time in my 20s or my teens that I could do that. That in 5 minutes? 50 pull-ups?
Both of them in 5 minutes.
Yes, both of them.
No
So it's not like 100 push-ups in 5 minutes. It's both tasks within 5 minutes.
No, that's not true. That's not what they
RFK Jr. is doing it in jeans.
Yeah, well, RFK Jr., he's a weirdo. I mean, he is. Come on, when it comes to fitness, he's a weirdo.
Yes.
I mean, he's done this his whole life. He's, like 800 years old, and he can still do it. He's, I don't know.
It's impressive, I will
He's
say.
a sex machine. That's
well, that's been a problem for him, yes. That
has been
an issue in his life, yes.
Right. Okay. So
separate from the president's physical fitness test, but I mean,
right.
Like they don't really think we're going to do that, right? Like, I mean, how long would that take you to do? I think for me it would take a good month. I think a month I could probably get 2 pull-ups a day. That would get me around, a little over 50, so I could do that plus the push-ups. In a solid month, I could get that done.
You could do more than 2 a day. You do more than 2 a day.
Glenn, I gotta say, I think I'm just gonna throw a number out there. There's no science behind this, but just as a guesstimate, I would say 40% of the population can't do any pull-ups. Maybe 30%. 30% of the population can do exactly 0 pull-ups. Precisely 0. So an infinite amount of time would be the correct answer for a third of the population.
I think you're being a little too optimistic. I think it's closer to 40 or 50. I think it is closer to 40 or 50.
Right?
Maybe 60%. Yeah.
Push-ups are one thing. I mean, I think almost anybody can do
they're really not. They're
a push-up. One.
You could do a push-up. Yes.
Singular push-up.
Yes.
And if you could do one, you can wait long enough to do a second one, and at some point the 100 gets done. That is not the case with pull-ups. Pull-ups, you can sit there and think about how much you want to do a pull-up for a really long time, but that doesn't make a pull-up happen. If you've got a certain amount of weight on you, or you're not doing a pull-up. It's just not occurring.
I have no idea how many pull-ups I could do.
I have an exact number of how many pull-ups you could do.
Do you? You think so?
Yeah. I have the exact number.
I think I could
I've been calculating. AI has been running a report on me. It came up with 0.
Right, really? I bet I could do... I mean, this is so pathetic. Listen to this. I bet I could do 3. You bet I could do 3.
In a row? Proper
what do you mean
form.
In a row?
I'm saying like holding onto the bar without letting go. You're doing 3. There's no way. I don't think so. With proper form.
I think I could.
No, come on, no, Glenn.
With proper form, I don't know about that.
I'm saying, I'm not saying it has to look pretty. You got to get your chin up above the bar, though. It can't be one of those things where like you're a quarter of the way up.
So I could do one and rest for 10 minutes, and then do another one. Well, I think I could do that.
I'm not saying like you jump up and you pull yourself up as you're going up. You got to come, from full hang.
See, so you may not know this, but when I did the DNA test, have you ever done the DNA test? It tells you all about your genes and everything else.
I've not.
Mine came back with something remarkable, and I have to share it. You might feel bad.
Glenn Beck.
NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. APR for rates in the 5 starts at 6.799% for well-qualified borrowers. Call 800-906-2440 for details about credit costs and terms.
Everybody talks about the American dream as opportunity, but here's the truth. For a lot of families, that dream is beginning to be eaten alive by interest rates and endless payments. You work, you save, and the numbers just never seem to move forward the way, they should. This is where American financing is different. They're not a bank trying to push you into another product. They are a salary-based mortgage consultant that takes the time to look at your life, your hopes, your dreams, your debts, your goals, and then they build a plan around you. And if that means refinancing to knock years off your loan, they'll show you exactly how to do it. If it means consolidating high-interest cards so you can stop bleeding every single month, they'll make that happen. Their mission is really simple: help you take control of your life, to help save you, help you finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because the American dream, that opportunity to do great things, doesn't need to be reinvented. It just needs to be made possible again. And that could start with American Financing. So call them. American Financing, 800-906-2440, 800-906-2440, AmericanFinancing.net.
Coming up next, Glenn attempts live pull-ups on the air. Stay tuned.
This, you have no idea as to who you're dealing with. No, you don't have any idea who you're dealing with here. I got my DNA test back like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we all took it because we were looking for things. And so we all took it. My DNA test came back. And everybody in the family, their test made total sense. We're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Then we read mine. I have to find it, see if Tanya even has it still. We should have it framed. I swear to you, they mixed me up with somebody else. Somebody else is like, wait a minute, man, I'm this pathetic? Mine came back and said, you have the muscular structure of a something like an elite athlete. You have the abilities and agility and everything else of an elite athlete. And I'm like, there's not a chance. I don't have any of that. I don't even know if I have muscles. I have to check once in a while. Go, do I have muscles still? Doctor's like, move your leg, and I'm like, I don't know. Can I? I don't know.
How do you do that
just
again?
Press against my hand on the leg. I don't know. I don't know how to do that exactly. So,
you sure it said?
I just want you to know,
elite athlete and not elephant. I mean, if they misspelled it, it could have been a smear or smudge.
I was having eye problems at the time. No. I mean, we read it, and I was like, Tanya, I believe that for Tanya. Maybe they switched me and Tanya, because Tanya is really strong. She'll kick your butt. She works out every day, all of that. Me, never. And it kind of makes me wonder when I get to the other side, and the Lord went, okay, so what'd you do with your life again? Because I gave you this incredible body, and you wasted it the whole time. And I'm like, you should have been more clear. Okay, you should have been more clear. Maybe I could have played basketball, but I tried once, and it was embarrassing. It was like sixth grade, and I'll never live. I don't even want to think about my time on a basketball court. Okay, so don't start with me. You should have made it a little clearer when I first started to do stuff, and I think that's fair. I think that's a fair argument. In my defense, Your Honor, Your God. You should have made it a little more clear.
Yeah, I mean, if they really wanted us to do this, then the 11th commandment is 50 push-ups or 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups, right? Like, put it in a commandment if you really want us to do it. You have to be more specific. We're Americans.
Okay, so let me give you the top of the list for the JFK presidential fitness test. Okay. This is what you had to do in high school. 34 pull-ups. Bar dips, 52. Because I believe I did that a long time. And
no, it's not.
Don't recommend it.
Not a bar hop.
Oh,
Glenn.
it's what?
It's
bar dips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. Bar dips, 52. Handstand push-ups, 50. What are handstand? Is that?
Oh my God.
I can't even stand on my hand. Is that like I'm doing a handstand and a push-up? Because that's not happening.
Yeah,
with anybody.
You're
not human.
You're balancing yourself on your hands. Your feet are above your hands on the wall, like a wall, and you're doing.
So you're balancing yourself. That makes it a little easier. Still impossible.
Yeah,
but a little easier.
Impossible.
Okay.
There, you could do precisely 0 of those.
Right. Okay. So you had to do 50 handstand push-ups. Or 26 one-arm burpees in 30 seconds. Is that a one-armed push-up?
No, so you're bracing yourself like you're about to begin a push-up in a burpee with only one arm, which that's not that difficult. But then you're doing, I think then you're like you move your feet towards your hands and then you jump up in the air basically, and then you do it repeated.
Oh no. That's ridiculous. That's no.
There's a law of gravity, okay? You're not supposed to violate it.
Yeah, that's not.
If it was a recommendation of gravity, maybe jumping would be appropriate, but it's not.
So
follow the law.
In 48 seconds, you had to do a 300-yard shuttle. Now, I've been to the airport. I think I've done a 300-yard shuttle, but it depends on who's driving.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rope climb. Try this. Rope climb.
This is what
20 feet, hands only, sit, start. No.
So that's what I remember from the president's physical fitness test. And I remember looking at that rope and being like, no chance I can get up that thing.
Oh, I just remember looking at that rope thinking humiliation.
Yeah.
Humiliation is coming my way. I'll never kiss a girl because that ain't happening. I'm going to get maybe 10 feet up. Maybe.
And you were right for 24 years from that time, approximately.
Agility run, 17 seconds. Extension press-ups. You had to do what? I'm sorry. I'm just so tired from reading this. Extension press-ups. What's an extension press-up? 8-inch.
Let's see.
You had to do 100 of those.
An exercise for low back pain involving lying on your stomach and pressing your upper body up with your arms while keeping your hips relaxed and down on the mat.
Oh, I could do that. 8 inches?
I could do the last part of it, relaxed and down on the mat.
I think it's what my doctor says I should be doing. What?
I can do relaxed and down on the mat. That part of it I can
Yeah, I can do that.
off.
I am the only guy. I took yoga for a while, like 3 weeks. My wife was like, yoga, you could do yoga. Let's just do yoga together. I did. And the yoga instructor said to me, because we were doing like, a plank.
Yeah.
And she came, and all I remember is her waking me up and saying, I think you're the only person I've ever taught that fell asleep in yoga. I'm like, it's just so relaxing. Just let me sleep. Just let me sleep.
That's interesting.
No, she wasn't.
That you did yoga. Is there any footage of that? Is there any video that we could
No,
post?
there's not.
I mean, that would be good for...
You had to do pegboard, 5 trips of pegboard. And I think that's when you have the two, like, pegs.
Yes.
And then you have to take it out and put it up, right?
Yeah.
And climb.
This is American Ninja Warrior. This is
There's
not...
no way. There's no way.
It's amazing.
Try this one. You had to do a 45-second handstand. I've never been able to do a handstand. Never.
I've been able to do
and
0
I'm an elite
seconds
athlete.
of it.
I am an elite athlete. Try this one. A man carry. 5 miles.
What? What do you mean a man?
5-mile man carry.
Is a man carry as obvious as it's...
I think it is.
You're carrying
I want to
human?
carry me that man. You got to carry me that man for 5 miles. I'm not sure. I can't carry any man for any miles. I mean, if I am a firefighter, count on burning in the house. You're just gonna burn up in the house because I can't carry you out. I could get in there and go, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave you. I'm gonna have to leave you here. Can't help you. Sorry. It's also getting really hot in here. I got to go. You had to do a 5-mile jog, an obstacle course. You had to swim prone for a mile. You had to swim underwater for 50 yards, any strokes, 2 minutes, deep water front hang float with arms. What is a deep water front hang float with arms? Wait. It's a deep water front hang float with arms and ankles tied for 6 minutes. What kind of Al-Qaeda PE class was this?
Who has access to, like, you're in the middle of the country, you might not have a deep water body nearby. Are you sure this was the actual test?
This is the actual test. This was the actual. What is a deep water front hang float with arms and ankles tied for 6 minutes? Can you look that up?
A deep water hang float is an aquatic exercise done in a deep end of a pool with the aid of a flotation device, such as a noodle or belt. In this position, The flotation device supports your upper body while your legs and torso hang freely below you. The setup, what? That can't be what it is. I could do that.
That's just, I can do that. Get into the deep end of a pool with a noodle?
It's every weekend. What are you talking about? Can you bring a margarita?
Man, this test is no big deal. What? No way. No way. Here's the last thing on the test. A vertical tread in an 8-foot circle for 2 hours. No way.
Vertical tread in an 8-foot circle?
So you're in the water, and you're treading water in a circle.
For how many hours?
For 2 hours? 2.
This is not... What? This is not cannot be the test.
Now, I told you this is the top of the test. So this was for the ones who could do all of the other tests. This was the top of the test. The bottom of the test is not that much better. Here's the entry, okay? Let's see. Pull-ups, 2/6/10. I don't know what that means. Push-ups, 16, 24, 32. Bar dips, 4, 8, and 12. Sit-ups, 30, 45, and 60. Broad jump, 6 foot, 6'6", and 6'9". To jump 6 feet? I don't even know if that's. I mean,
that one is possible, Glenn. Yes, I know it sounds incredible, but yes, that
sounds
one
incredible.
Is possible.
You know, I think we should have the average person Olympics. I really do. I really do.
I'd watch that.
I would watch that every time because you see them coming, you know, and you're like, that one's not 3 feet. I'm giving him 3 feet. 200-yard shuttle. Agility run, rope climb 18 feet, hands only, 880 yards in 3 minutes, a mile in 7 minutes, pegboard, 6 holes, a 50-yard swim, 50-yard swim in 36 seconds, man carry, 880 yards. No, thank you. No, thank you. Look at what we've gone down. That's the bottom of it, and I don't think most Americans could do that. I couldn't. Well, I could because I'm an elite. I have the body of an elite athlete.
You could not. Now, of course, now in your, let's just say, and this is supposed to be for a high school kid, right? So this is the prime of your athletic life. Could you do some of these things? Probably.
Go into high school. Go into any high school and ask them to do this. There's no way. And all of the kids would be,
well, that's kind of what the reaction's been.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have been. I would have been there too. And my parents would have said, suck it up. Just do it. So nothing's really changed. But
that's been the reaction to this proposal, too, of bringing this back, right? Like the media is covering it as like, it's going to embarrass children. You know, I mean, I do remember being like, I can't do that. I'm not going to be able to get to the top of that rope. That's not happening. That's, sort of life, right? Like sometimes you can do things, sometimes you can't do other things, right? Like that's
why you have to learn how to injure yourself.
Right.
You know, how many stairs can I throw myself down to not do serious damage, but enough to get me out of PE?
Yeah, you have to fake an injury. You have to learn from LeBron James. Like act like you got hit in the eye and fall down and like you were just stabbed over and over again during an athletic competition.
No way. Mm-hmm. No way. And you know what? Honestly, this is why we're not having sex with each other. We're not having kids because nobody wants to look at each other. You're like, leave your clothes on. Leave your clothes on. All right, back in just a second. Let me just take a quick break and tell you about our sponsor this half hour. It's Rough Greens. You know, every morning you're the coach for a very small, very devoted athlete. You decide what fuel goes into the tank, and your athlete happens to have 4 legs, wagging tail, kind of, the kind of heart that would follow you into a hurricane. There's a way to tell if you're giving him the right fuel or just filler. Watch the aftermath. Pour the kibble. 20 minutes later, is he bouncing, then crashing, then scratching, then wandering off to sleep? That's not performance food. That's a roller coaster. That's what happens when a food is engineered to survive in a warehouse instead of surviving in a body and help that body thrive. Rough Greens is the trainer that you add on top of that team. It's not a new food. It's a daily topper that goes on the food that you've already chosen. Bringing back the live stuff that your dog's body needs because it was built to run on this stuff. and suddenly the post-meal story changes big time, and your dog has all kinds of energy and a whole new life. You'll see it within your dog pretty quickly. Get their free Jumpstart trial bag. It's free. You just feed it to your dog. Make sure your dog likes it. It's not a food. You just put it over whatever you're feeding your dog. I think every dog I have ever heard from, their owners, or dogs are calling me up at night. Glenn, I got to tell you that rough green stuff. You were right about it. Okay. Every time I've ever seen a dog react to this or talk to their owners, it's the same thing. They love it. They snarf it, and they see a difference in their energy, their attitude, and I know I saw a difference in the life expectancy of my dog, Uno. It's Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com, roughgreens.com. Use the promo code Beck, roughgreens.com, promo code Beck.
There you have it. The truth, stripped down like a fence post in a prairie storm. Glenn Beck returns after this.
Well, we worry about, the threats that we see, right? Like the broken windows, the doors that's been kicked in, the person creeping around the neighborhood. Have you ever been on one of those apps or like neighborhoodwatch.net? There's always somebody say, oh, there's some guy creeping along. That's the Amazon guy. But these dangers kind of feel real because, you are trying to picture them, right? Damaging crimes don't always come with flashing red lights or a burglar or a mask. Title theft happens quietly inside a county records office or behind the glow of a hacker's laptop. There's no alarm bell when someone forges your signature, no warning siren when people file paperwork that swaps your name off the deed. On paper, it looks legitimate, but in reality, it's identity theft at its most devastating because it takes aim at the single largest asset most Americans ever own, your home. And the worst part is, it spirals really, really quickly. Now, once the fake transfer is recorded, loans get taken out against your home, bills pile up in your name, and suddenly you're the one fighting uphill to prove you still own the house you're living in. Home Title Lock exists because no one else is watching. It monitors your title every day and every night and makes sure that someone so much as tries to tamper with it, you're alerted instantly because the hardest crimes to see are often the most important ones to stop. AI is changing the world. Don't let it change the name on your home's title. It's HomeTitleLock.com. Promo code is Blaze. HomeTitleLock.com.
Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. You know what's really sad and pathetic, Stu? You put either of us up against our wives, and we'd look really pathetic. I mean, we look pathetic standing on our own, but put us next to our wives.
People note that often in the comments below photos she posts, and I don't think it's appreciated.
Yeah, mine does. Wow, Glenn, how'd this work? How'd this happen? That's the number one comment when I'm in a picture with my wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not helpful.
Miracles do happen.
I don't know if you think you're
Is
being
she blind?
helpful. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. It's not helpful.
You don't really need to state it.
Yeah.
But thank you for doing it because it really brightens my day when you point it out.
It does.
Over
It helps
and over
me.
and
It
over
helps
again.
me get along. It helps. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me. Keep looking up.
But
keep
like
reaching for the stars.
You know, my wife. She works out every day. She's in very good shape. She's tiny too, and so
Yeah.
you'd think the perfect person for pull-ups, right?
Yeah, because she's what? She's 4'10".
No, she's like 5'1", maybe 5'1".
5'1". Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Tiny.
So 5'1". Like it was ridiculous to say 4'9". She's 5'1". Yeah,
it seemed like you were going into little person territory. She's
I think that's in the threes. And she's clearly not a little person.
But she did like a pull-up challenge at her gym.
Yeah,
which they had to do, like in a month, had to do 10 consecutive pull-ups. I think it was.
She weighs what, like 35 pounds?
Yeah, not a lot. 100 pounds.
Yeah,
and she
got to 9.
She got to 9 consecutive ones in the challenge in a month.
Wow.
If she could do that, there's a lot of people who will do not 9 in a year.
Wait, she did 9 in a month, so like I could do one and then come back a few days later and do another?